to the lower bracket by Clutch Gamer. So you could definitely say the argument is that Clutch Gamer is the team to beat. But for now, Faceless versus Mineski. Who will move on? Is Restalker here?
Oh, sorry about that. I had my mic muted. But I was just saying, it looks like Mineski had done their homework. They're going to first phase ban that Kunkka instead of letting Faceless pick it up. They haven't had too much success with it, but you know, Kunkka is one of those heroes. All you need is one really good boat torrent combo, and you can get yourself back in the game. You can get ahead in the game, so they're just going to take that out immediately.
Mineski has been picking a lot of Kunkka themselves as well, but one hero that in common both these teams also really like to pick a lot is the Crystal Maiden. So it seems like I think the first pick actually will be dedicated to either CM or Kunkka, should those heroes or still remain in the pool. But a little bit of deny pick here. We're going to see the Ninja Boogie Witch Doctor, but taking away from Nuts. This is actually one of Nuts' best hero back in the, what was it, TI5? Or was it TI4?
I am not too sure.
When he was fighting for MVP Phoenix. But he was really good in the hero.
5 seconds.
Yeah, Crystal Maiden's just been coveted overall. I think she's pretty good across all regions, at least from all the qualifiers I've seen in some of the programs. She just really helps augment a lot of the mid laners, and you know, there's just seems to be a lot of spell spammage. It kind of helps your safe lane push the opposing off laner, so she's just pretty good overall. She can get a little bit of farm for us fighting creeps. Going back to Nyx Assassin and Witch Doctor, definitely a pretty strong combination of burst damage coming out. We saw that very cheeky early point of Maledict coming out from, I believe it was the player on CDC.
Yes.
Playing the Witch Doctor, and they're able to zone out. So we'll see if there's any wonky skill builds here, depending on who he's laning again.
Now, normally whenever I see a Nyx Assassin, I'm like, okay, you could pick yourself a Invoker and Sunstrike for a ton of kills, but Mushi is traditionally one of those mid players that never actually plays Invoker, which, unless he has changed his way, I think that's actually a big repertoire that you're missing. Like, this is a strong drafting weapon that you could have. But
yeah, I remember, I think it was Winter saying one time he doesn't play Invoker because of how he has his hotkey set up from way back in the Dota 1 days. So
legacy keys, yeah. I get it.
Legacy keys, and I think some of the hotkeys that he uses for items and stuff like that. So that's a bit unfortunate. Maybe he's worked around that. I haven't ever seen him play Invoker professionally, like ever, I think. So yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing that today. But a Treant pickup. Treant's definitely good, especially when you have that roaming potential from the Nyx Assassin. Can potentially save you early on.
Yep, and I think Treant is going to be pretty decent against Nyx Assassin overall, right? Because Nyx is going to be that gank factor, but Treant could kind of anti-gank across the map, if that actually makes sense. And in terms of the counter to Treant Protector, I think both Darkseer and Ember Spirit, like any high damage over time spell that could break the living armor and still go strong is quite good. But those are the two heroes that either A, is not available because of the Darkseer ban, or B, Mineski simply just do not play. So
yeah, I was gonna say Batrider is also good, but it looks like they take Batrider out. Not only for, you know, chopping down trees and stuff, but Tree's not a particularly fast hero once you actually once he breaks his invis. So you're able to kind of run him down if you pick up a dust very early on. So rather than feeding free kills, it looks like they're gonna take out the Batrider.
Actually, this could be still a support Nyx Assassin, so let's not count Batrider out just yet.
No, they've already banned it.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay, you're right. I'm blind.
Nyx Assassin support. I haven't seen that in a long time, actually. The hero is pretty level starved. I think if you get a late level 6, you lose a lot of the utility. But I mean, you always can run him support, but I think it's a very low chance.
Okay.
But it's open. You know, it's open.
Actually, Faces is banning a lot of these heroes that we've been mentioning.
Yeah.
That is good against the living armor. So they're banking a lot on that. I mean, Mineski, if they want to go back for something random like a Jakiro or a Venomancer. But Venomancer at least is out of the picture. Mushi does play a mean mid Veno, but this game we're gonna see a HappyFeet instead. And yesterday when I was watching Mushi play, he would go for these like HappyFeet build that was very reminiscent to like the mech build back in the day. If you remember it was like Dragonlance into straight BKB, and his job was to win team fights and push. And then he would pick a harder carry for Jay or Raging Potato and allow him to be the ultimate late game carry. Yesterday he paired up Shadow Fiend plus Terrorblade a lot, But since Terrorblade is actually banned out by themselves, we'll see what is going to be Ninja Boogie's hero.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see what kind of item build he's going to go. You know, it's a little bit hard to tell right now because they haven't picked the rest of their draft. But if you go for the Shadow Blade, you have insane roaming potential with the Nyx Assassin. You know, sure, the opponents are going to have sentries for the Nyx, but you're able to kind of pressure the map just all over the place with these two heroes. You know, they don't even have to be working together. They can kind of secure kills on their own. So we'll see if they run amok across Faceless's map, or if he's going to go for a little bit of the more standard Dragonlance opening.
I'm almost certain it's going to be Dragonlance into an early BKB and then into an early Butterfly. It seems to be the build that Mushi champions the most and has the most success with. But depending on the last two pick, it definitely can change. I think this is where a Troll Warlord could also kind of fit into the strategy of the early push. Although maybe against Treant Protector, that might be a too all-in of a strategy, right? Faceless right now has 3 amazingly good defensive heroes.
Yeah, I think Troll's okay. Troll's one of those heroes that's really good against Abaddon, I think, for a safe lane. You know, we saw in the last matchup between Faceless and Clutch Gamers, when the Troll gets a little bit ahead, when he gets that phase boot, he's able to pressure Abaddon very easily. I think most safe laners have a little bit of trouble, even if they're able to get that 2-3 levels ahead. And it looks like Omni Knight is going to be picked up for Mineski. So is this going to be a position for Omni Knight or offlane Omni Knight?
Offlane Omni Knight, because I think between the two, Nyx Assassin probably can play a lot more sacrificial role. I think Omni Knight without farm is just garbage. So
yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, hopefully he is playing the 4 and
5 seconds.
Well, we'll see.
It's a bit weird right now because Omni Knight is one of those heroes, like, you think he's not, item dependent, level dependent, but he works significantly better with those items. We have, in the Western scene, it's a lot of like Midas, Radiance, these weird kind of things that we see. Typically, Abaddon and Omni Knight go for that kind of stuff. So we'll see if they're going to play Omni Knight that way. And yeah, Troll Warlord's actually going to be picked up for Faceless.
Good against either Omni or Nyx in the lane, so definitely has his edge there, and I think more or less this is a block pick, taking away from Mineski as well. Obviously, Mineski did have the option to pick it up, but I guess they figured Omni Knight was more important to them.
Yeah, Abaddon works extremely well with Troll as well. You just kind of stack that attack speed on attack speed, and you can take down towers like extremely quickly. You can go for objectives like Roshan as well. And it's also going to be a little bit difficult for Mineski to push right now. Their only really good tower hitter at the moment is Shadowfiend, and when you have Treant Protector, you need to make sure that you get a tower in one single push, otherwise it's going to be quite troublesome as the game gets extended. So I think Mineski should draft another, maybe, it's kind of hard because Lifestealer doesn't match up particularly well against Troll, and he doesn't do too well against Treant either when he gets rooted. So I don't think Lifestealer's in the picture here. Slark would have been good, but he's banned out.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I don't think Lifestealer is in the picture at all, because no vehicle to bring him in either, apart from the Nyx.
That's...
Radiance pit.
But we'll see. They do have Omni Repel. If Omni's, but the thing with Omni's, his range is a little bit unreliable, so it's going to be perfect play to kind of get that kind of combination on.
I feel like there is a very obvious hero that I'm forgetting. That...
I mean, they could go... Do the SCA teams play Naga? Naga is not particularly bad this game, I think. They have a lot of tools to kind of create space for her. And they can kind of just win the game with Naga, but I'm not sure if he's really run in the SCA scene, or if anyone in Mineski in particular plays her.
Ninja Boogie played it a lot back in the days, but his previous teammate had Miracle in it, and Miracle mostly played the Nagas whenever it was picked. So I haven't seen... Raging Potato, or I'm gonna call him Jay this game because that is his name, even though he has like 4 tags.
Alright, I will try to remember that as well. But who do you think Faceless is gonna pick up here? They need a mid hero that matches up well against Shadowfiend. It shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, pretty much anything you can pick is
pretty easy. But it's more about the roam, right? Like Witch Doctor roaming into someone. Wow. I think this is a mid troll. Yeah.
Troll mid, and the infamous Black Clinks. They win a lot of games off of this. I fear for your life, Witch Doctor. You will be roamed on and probably killed. I like this lineup a lot. They are somewhat single-dimensional. This is kind of run around the map, split push with the Troll, split push with the Clinks, find pickoffs. I don't think they're good at all in team fights, right? I mean, they have Crystal Maiden ult and Treant ult, but not really at the same time. They don't.
It's
do
a
too
little
much.
strange. I think when you look at it on paper, their team fight looks really good, but it's not too good, I think, until the later stages of the game, until some of these heroes get a little bit more beefy. Like, I think when Troll and Klinks get a little bit stronger, that's when their team fight becomes a lot better, but it's not going to be that good around, like, the 10-minute mark, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, and Klinks is actually a really good pick because even against Omni Knight, his Searing Arrow goes through their repel, so he's not going to be able to rely on that as much as he'd like to.
Oh, actually, you know, one of the hidden strength of Omni Knight is the fact that he can bully a lot of safe laners with his degen and stuff. Not versus Klinks.
Yeah.
Klinks will just mess you up.
That's what I'm saying. And a Bristleback, what? So it's going to be a safe lane Bristleback here,
Yeah.
I think.
Why not? Good hero.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I've seen a few safe lane Bristlebacks, I've seen mid Bristlebacks. He's kind of just all over the place these days. So yeah, it's going to be a fast Solar Crest on him. Solar Crest, a fantastic item against both Troll, Warlord, and Klinks, I believe. And Mineski kind of wants to fight quite a bit. You know, they have heroes that like to go for that early aggression. All their heroes are well suited for that. And yeah, it looks like ShadowFiend's going to be going for the Dragonlance build with a lineup like this.
This is sort of similar to the lineup that Faceless ran earlier, right? With, I think, Ice on the Bristleback. And
10 seconds to
it
go.
was, what is it, Terrorblade? That was the designated
Terrorblade.
tower hitter, and I
5
think
seconds.
Mushi is going to be that instead, with Bristleback sitting in the front. But of course, a little bit different with the, you know, the safe lane Bristleback this time. But I gotta tell you, Raging Potato or Jay is one of the most aggressive player there is. And we've seen how that matchup went with Abaddon versus Bristleback, so Ice is going to have his, well, we'll see how he plays. I mean, he definitely won the matchup versus Rappy, but let's see if he can play the other half just as good.
Yeah, I think Abaddon does not match up well against Bristleback in a 1v1. It's just kind of the nature of the matchup, but we'll see. Abaddon is mostly level dependent. Ice is known for, you know, the last game that we saw with him, known for going in to secure the EXP, so we'll see if he's going for that playstyle again.
He also has living armor this time around.
Yeah, that is true. But we'll see. You know, Witch Doctor is one of those heroes that you can't, like, if you go in and you get hit by like 200 damage, you're just dead. Thanks to Maledict, so he's gonna have to play a little bit more safe than he typically does.
All right, here we go. We got the lower bracket finals, game 1 on the way. Smoke is gonna break on both sides. All right, let's think about rewarding in other spots. We got XY playing on the Treant Protector, Jabs on the Troll Warlord mid, Black of course playing the Klinks that he's so famously known for. Nuts on the Crystal Maiden, and that will leave Ice on the Abaddon. And on the other side here, Adam letting that Impale fly here on the Nyx Assassin, giving Nuts a piece of his mind. Okay, are we gonna see a repel being used? Yeah. Make sure nothing happens. Nice searing arrows. Ooh, that animation looks sick. We got Mushi, of course, on the ShadowFiend. Ninja Boogie playing the Witch Doctor. And that will leave Jay playing the Bristleback up top.
Yeah, so the early game was basically everyone's smokes getting thwarted. Everyone just running into each other, so the warding may or may not be very obvious to both teams. I think they'll be fine with how the situation turned out. But yeah, looks like both teams just kind of securing their runes after trading a couple hits here.
Okay, Mineski wanting to go offensive actually.
Yeah, that's I think they do come out ahead here if they're able to get some of their spells. Witch Doctor is one of the best, I think, offensive heroes, because if you ever fight in the jungle area, you're just going to be landing casks on heroes rather than, you know, involving the creeps and things like that. So pretty decent idea here from Mineski.
They would have had a very good matchup against Abaddon in the lane, but I think they don't want to sacrifice Mag too much there. So instead, they're going to try to go into the Klinks. But to be fair, I think Klinks is also okay with this particular lane setup, especially with Crystal Maiden dedicating herself into the jungle to get up that aura a little bit early on.
Yeah, I think the goal here for Mineski is to try to win as much as they can, because if they did do the Bristleback against the Abaddon matchup, they would have come out ahead and let Omni Knight join this thing. But by doing switching it up a little bit, I think they're trying to win like all the lanes. That's their goal here, and that's something that you definitely want to do. You don't want Klinks to get that early, Deso or Solar Crest run around the map and kind of just decimate your Witch Doctor.
Jabs, very smart movement here. Does expect Adam from coming in the back, so he moves up north. We'll start to trade a couple of hits to build up that fervor stack. And Shadowfiend, all he really needs is that first 2 waves of free farm, and he should be extremely self-sufficient after that.
Yeah, you know, back in the days we used to see like Ogre bullying the Shadow Fiend, making sure that he's not able to do that. This time we have Nyx on the Shadow Fiend's side actually helping him secure that first creep wave. And as you said, once he gets a couple...
Top lane, South was forced out. Abaddon almost died there to Mag's level 2 degen.
Yeah, I think this lane is going to stabilize eventually. I think that the problem with the Omni Knight is that oh shoot, your overlay's messed up, Lumi.
Nah, I fixed it. We good.
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I think the Omni Knight, he's gonna kind of run out of mana, and until he gets the Soul Ring and the mana boots and stuff, they should be fine for the next like two minutes or so.
yeah, the other thing about the Omni is that he's out of tangles as well. I think I started with 2 sets. He's got the Crystal Maiden aura to back him up as well. It is
in the Abaddon.
Yeah, sorry, the Abaddon has the aura to back him up. It is interesting to see that he actually took early level into Mist Coil, and I think he was actually using a lot to get last.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Another thing to note is that he does have the Shrine, whereas Omni Knight doesn't, so he'll have a free refill. But yeah, not too much is going to be happening there. I think at least until Omni Knight gets some of his solid regen like Arcane or Soul Ring.
Right. Well, how's this bottom matchup going here? Both cores farming about the same.
I think they do have some kill potential on the Clinks very early on if they go for something like a very early Dust with Witch Doctor or the Nyx Assassin.
Right.
But I'm not sure if they're intending on doing any rotations like that. Right now, Nyx seems to be more comfortable protecting the Shadow Fiend, making sure he gets a really good start. Because, as you said earlier, you know, you want the Shadow Fiend to be that tower hitter. You just need to make sure that both him and Bristleback have a decent game. You don't have to worry too much about getting kills. Just secure the farm, and then you can start beating down on towers.
Well, good play here by Adam, cancel out the Smoke Gang from the Crystal Maiden. They also have a Sentry here, seeing how any like Tree could actually hide in the spot and just walk down and start hitting you. So they do have that cover as well. So overall, Mushi is very well protected in the mid lane, and as a result, he is going to have a fairly decent farm. And also, I think he should be able to start bullying jabs out of the lane.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to bully him out. I think they'll at least trade farm. You know, Jabs will probably farm under the tower. They'll both just farm. It looks like Nyx Assassin's going for a little cheeky wraparound, but not too much is going to come out of that. And both mid players going for very early boots of speed, and I think that's kind of the tempo of the game here. Everyone wants to just make sure that they're safe, securing their farm, not going for anything greedy like bottle.
Yeah, it seems like that's been the evolution of the mid lane as of recently, right? A lot of people have been skipping the bottle just to make sure that they don't die.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Seeing a lot of,
the runes are something that you can't guarantee either, because a lot of the supports have been nagging it as of late.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes you'll see things like double null talismans coming out from like Linas and stuff. It's just to kind of win more. It's like a win more thing, and then you kind of get the bottle a little bit later. It looks like Shadow Fiend's gonna finish off the Ring of Aquila. Pretty standard stuff here.
All right, Jay, trying his best to farm this ancient stack that he made for himself. Is clearing it very quickly, but also expending his entire mana pool to do so.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about with the Ice thing earlier. It was different for Ice because, you know, he was dominating the lane. With the Clinks, it's a little bit more difficult, so doing the Ancient Stacks is a lot more understandable. He's actually going to be clearing out the side camp as well, the medium camp over there, so he should be well on his way towards his Vanguard, probably going to pick it up in the next minute or so.
Well, he is going to be really out of mana. Has like 2 more Quill Spray left. Or 1 to be exact, and might drop the stacks on these Quill Sprays, which is going to be unfortunate.
Ooh, he's going to have it, he got.
He's going to right click it down. So that's going to be almost a finished Vanguard after this, and of course, Witch Doctor's sapping a little bit of experience meanwhile, so very efficient use of the jungle there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Clinks is actually going to build here. There's a lot of paths that he can go. Typically, you'll see like an early treads into Blightstone pickup, and then from there you can kind of deviate between Solar Crest or the Desolator. I'm not sure if he's going to go for a Hand of Midas this game. I don't think that's too popular these days. Sometimes you go Hand of Midas on here. It's actually weird because I see a Hand of Midas on heroes that like to fight, like Nyx Assassin. Sometimes, I mean not Nyx, on Lifestealer you'll see a Hand of Midas, and then he'll just kind of go with other items. But I don't think Clinks has that luxury.
No, I think Kling's, a lot of your early game is about you sneaking around, forcing early tower kills, forcing early hero kills. If you use that Midas and delay your farm, or delay the fact that you're impacting the game, it hurts the heroes a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you can see there's going to be a massive congregation at bottom here. Basically every hero on the map apart from the Bristleback, the troll.
Well, it's going to reveal his position. Casket only going to bounce once, but Impale will hit, and the raises will give Mushi the first blood. XY is in position, and now Raging Potato running past the tower with no care in the world. Cares a little bit.
Yeah, that's just Crystal Maiden down. I don't think they're going to be able to defend this tower. The respawns are pretty low, but it seems like the Abaddon and Troll are content. Troll is pushing mid. It looks like they just got off onto the Clinks here.
Yep.
Maybe a very easy pick off, and it looks like they can make the potential kill onto the Abaddon here as well.
Actually, Mushi missing one of his raises. I think he might die here as a result. XY is going to get right click down as well. Mushi finally goes down to the mist coil. There is a Maledict onto Ice Ice Ice. Ice 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 ultimate has triggered, and he will go down trying to deny himself, but instead, very unfortunate. Raging Potato says I'm the only one alive, so yeah, I'm gonna just keep on right-clicking some creeps.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate for Mushi. I think they did definitely come out ahead there. Actually, it's hard to say if they definitely came out. You know, Troll has just got a lot of free farm. I'd say a small advantage for Mineski overall. You know, Bristleback is one of those heroes that benefits greatly from surviving these kinds of fights early on. So it's going to allow them to pressure around the map a little bit more. But with that being said, Jabs did have a lot of free farm at mid during that whole thing.
This is interesting. Now, ShadowFiend ports bottom again. And he spends pretty much his entire, or a couple of bottle charges for Jay. I guess they really dedicated into pushing down this tower. Adam's going to go mid to soak that experience, but like you mentioned, Jabs has had free farm now for like 3-4 minutes straight.
Yeah, I think the reason they're doing this is because they want to make sure they're pressuring the bottom. They don't want Abaddon running around the map and free farming. If he's porting in, it means that he's not working towards his Vlads.
Right.
It means that they're working towards his items. So, and the thing about Clinks is he's very weak at the moment. That being said, they're trying to sneak around and get a kill onto the Troll here at mid.
Mushi sees a tree coming from the left side, and now Troll's gonna jam him in as well. Triple raises will come out. I think Mushi's gonna be surrounded. Mushi will go down. They will take one down, or at least try to do so. Maledict will hit a couple of heroes, but that living armor will keep him alive. Adam's gonna go down to black as well. Fight looking pretty good so far. They probably will lose Jab on the way out. Jab is trying to farm before he dies. But, okay. I think that's a trade you'll take here if you're Faceless.
Yeah, you definitely will. They got the experience onto the Troll. It looks like Treant's just gonna TP out there. Looks like they get the experience onto the Troll. I think that was a slight misplay from the Nyx Assassin. He should have stunned the Troll a little bit earlier, I think, before the ShadowFiend got the beat down there. But it's a pretty decent trade. Definitely favorable for Faceless. And
Spike the shield pop. Spike! Oh, Spike turns around, but the ult's gonna get used still. Adam will go down to yet another miscoil. Ice 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 does have the TP out, and honestly, he could just make it out very easily. He wants to waste more of their time. Yeah. Alright, there you go.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 minutes have not been particularly good for Mushi. You know, he teleported bottom, didn't get much farm. You know, Bristleback takes priority of farm down there. He goes to mid, he dies to a gank from the Troll and the tree, and then he heads top and doesn't get too much from there either. So he's just been kind of running around for the last 3 minutes.
Yep.
It's a bit unfortunate for Mushi.
In terms of actual CS, he's even with the Troll Warlord, and well, the net worth, he's actually still sitting ahead. So
yeah,
looking okay.
But that's one of those things that I always talk about, is that net worth is very relative, right? So if you're playing a hero like ShadowFiend, you typically want to be a little bit, you know, at this stage of the game, you might want to be maybe 500, 600 net worth above the Troll. So it's not like he's having a massive advantage, but you know, he's doing okay. It's just been unfortunate that his TPs haven't really come into fruit.
Two-man gank up top did get turned around by a good usage of the Spike Carapace as well as a Purification, but doesn't change the fact that it's going to be Faceless that's pressuring a lot of these early game towers. Abaddon looking really strong without even the Vlads completed, but Bristleback on the other side of the map trying to do the same thing. This is where Living Armor is helpful, at least to slow down the push and make the rest of Mineski commit more time. Mushi rotates again here, which I don't dislike seeing a ShadowFiend rotating early, but I feel like his economy could be a lot better than it currently is.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It looks decent, you know, he's at 4,400, but you have to think about it as, you know, Abaddon's also at the same net worth. So when Abaddon is about the same net worth as a ShadowFiend, it's probably, you know, not very, it's indicative of something, you know, something's gone awry for the ShadowFiend here. But, you know, ShadowFiend is a flash farmer. If they're able to kind of accrue a little bit more gold onto him, he'll be fine. And it looks like they're going to continue pressuring top here. Tree has positioned himself into a very cheeky spot.
XY going for the very standard max nature skies, so you could actually be invis and walk around much faster. There's
Yeah,
no way
and,
they could kill Jay, right? But they could kill.
No, they might get the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, Witch Doctor is gonna cast, put out the Maledict. One more right click's gonna get the kill.
Yeah, and that's the strength of Clinks, as you said earlier. Witch Doctor is one of those heroes. You know, if you have a hero like Rubik, you have the instant lift. Witch Doctor, even if you throw out the cast, you're going to eat like 3 arrows by the time you get stunned.
Right.
So, a bit unfortunate there. Bristleback might be going down here. There is a Nyx Assassin in the area.
Okay. Does have the Vanguard, and it's fairly tanky,
Yeah,
but XY will be...
These are just love taps. They're just... they're both just, you know, kind of tickling each other at this point.
I am surprised by the fact that Shadow Fiend is trying to go for a Shadow Blade. As I mentioned... Oh, actually, did he sell it? No, yeah.
No, he's going for the Dragon Lance again, I think.
He bought the parts to the Silver Edge, and then it's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think he realized that there isn't too much kill potential on the map apart from Crystal Maiden.
Right.
You know, he's not going to be finding too many targets, so I think Dragon Lance is definitely the right choice. And, you know, we saw earlier, if Shadow Fiend is tanky, you can further augment that with, you know, assistance. So in this case, you know, last time the Shadow Fiend had a Abaddon and the OD kind of astraling him. This time he has the Witch Doctor to kind of voodoo him up, and he has the Omni as well. So you can further build upon that tankiness.
Every time I look at over Jay, he's farming some ancient stacks.
Yeah, that's the hero, man.
Alright. Seems like all of the Bristleback players are just in agreement with the build. It's just Solo Crest and Vanguard. And sometimes you add a hood depending, you know, what kind of situation you're in.
Solar Crest is just way too good, I think, this patch right now. It's like the Force Staff from like a couple years ago.
Or the Glimmer Cape when it first got introduced.
Oh, the Grimble Cape, yikes. So the Bristleback's playing aggressive here. There are a lot of Radiant heroes running up here. Yeah. We'll see if they're able to take him down. He is insanely tanky.
Well, yep. They drop a couple of slows. One thing you mentioned earlier when we were casting the other Bristleback game. Hold on out here. Bottom lane, Black. Guardian Angel is going to keep everyone alive. Black's going to go down, and now it's going to be Jabs perhaps in a lot of trouble, trying to run away, but that DJ Aurora making him look silly. The raises will come through Mushi, completing the 3 fire raises.
Yeah, that was just Mineski noticing that they, you know, sent 3 heroes top trying to kill the Bristleback, and here they are trying to kill him again, but that's probably not going to do too much. Nope. It still has 8 wand charges there. Yeah, they just recognize that Faceless has, you know, dedicated quite a few heroes trying to take the Bristleback down. They immediately pounced on the Troll and the Klink's bottom, and that's killing 2 core heroes, which is pretty significant.
Will get dropped on top of the mid lane, but Mag
This'll come in handy.
Not enough firepower to take down the tree and protect her.
I think if Mineski rotated a little bit faster, they might have been able to take down this mid tower. They still might be able to. It's going to be a little bit harder now, though, that the Faceless heroes are up.
I don't know. Jay doesn't care. It sits in the front line, tanks up everything, allowing Mushi to right click from the back line. They're going to initiate on Raging Potato, but they have the Purification. Where is it? The Purification does come through. Here, so is the Repel. Ice ports in. Does have his ultimate available. Will finally pop it. Good retreat here. Crystal made an ultimate, just a zoner. Tower will get denied. So, pretty much just a support death for a tower deny, which is not that bad.
Yeah, pretty decent. It might have been a slightly different fight if Trey was able to get his ultimate off there. He got the bash off onto the Bristleback there, but he immediately got stunned up, so that was a bit unfortunate. But I think they'll take the trade overall.
Yep.
It's not too bad.
Hey, guess what Jay's doing?
What is he doing? More ancient stacks? He is, man, this is what you do. Like with the new camp system where it only spawns on every odd minute, I think stacking is even more important. Yep. So it's very, you know, they've just been on their A game with these camp stacks. So kudos to them for recognizing it. And he has the Solar Crest now if he wants it, and he's probably going to be finishing it up right after this camp.
Well, he is neck and neck with the Shadow Fiend when it comes to net worth, and if the theory of relativity applies here, he is insanely farmed.
is a hero that, if he's up there with your Shadow Fiend, that is a good sign.
Yeah.
So something I'm trying to think about here is who has the better positioning for the upcoming Roshan fight, and it seems like it seems like it is in favor of Mineski here. They have a little bit better potential here. It looks like Crystal Maiden is going to end up going down. You know, they spotted her picking up that Invis rune. Very easy kill onto the Crystal Maiden.
And they
It
can
looks
take
like they're
down.
just going to waltz in there.
Yeah, they can take down Roche much faster as well. They have the solo press, allowing Mushi to do extra damage. Looks like it's a Ogre Club back into the Shadow Blade. Mushi debating all of us.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. The casual Ogre Club, something that we've seen him.
You know, bottom shrine.
Mag, he just repelled out of a overgrowth.
Yeah.
Walked it off.
Yeah, that's what happened. So pretty good. They let Shadowfiend get that entire solo EXP, by the way, on the Roshan.
Interesting.
So that's pretty huge.
That's the captain saying, "Get out, guys. I want solo XP." Ooh, maybe you could go for a solo kill. Yeah, I don't think they know about the Shadow Blade just yet. Jabs. Ooh, actually that.
Ooh, that was slightly off to the side.
Yeah, and he actually missed one of the raises as well. I think if he hit it, he might have gotten the kill before Tree could have reacted.
Yeah, I think Mushi could have waited a little bit. You know, Troll doesn't clear the entire wave there particularly fast. Nyx did have his Vendetta coming off cooldown, or it was already off cooldown. You know,
I think his blade
jumping
was
the gun a
running
little
out.
bit. Oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that was
He
the
was
issue.
just pressured in time.
But yeah, that is the reveal. So it is going to make them play a little bit safer. But once again, I don't think they have Faceless, I should say. They don't have too much of an issue with this Shadow Fiend Shadow Blade. It's going to make them group up a little bit more than they'd like. So that's going to be a bit unfortunate. They are going to smoke into the Dire jungle here. Excuse me, the Radiant jungle.
Oh, Dust is gonna fly out again. Adam, always on point with these Dusts. Of course, it was pretty easy when you had a smoke pop and could react pretty much.
Yeah, they had the
instantly.
Observer ward there as well.
Yep.
To see the clinks. Yeah, so really nice ward vision coming out from Mineski here. And, you know, typically I say heroes that go invisible are economy busters, but when you get the kills using your dusts and your sentries, then they're definitely going to be worthwhile in the long run.
I have to say, this is the first game in recent memory in like a couple of years where Black's Clinks has not taken over the game by now. And I think largely that's attributed to the fact that, XY breaks out of Invis. Oh, did not walk next to the trees, but he will go into Invis very quickly. But yeah, I think it really is attributed to the fact that Mineski did put up that trialing against him and was able to keep ganking him repeatedly.
Yeah, I think that was actually a really heads-up play. I think you said earlier, it was a little bit, you know, it's that trade-off. They could completely shut out the Abaddon, and at the same time, I think they would get some farm on the Omni Knight. By doing that switch-up, they make the Abaddon have a slightly better time, but they completely shut down the Clinks, or at the very least, they made it significantly harder for Black to play this game.
And now Mineski is threatening high ground. You gotta come back and defend, and I mean, you have living armor, but will living
The
armor...
Aegis is actually on Bristleback as well.
Okay. Well, no doubt that Jay is going to be looking to stand in the front line to draw some attention. Top lane, Ice, pushing the wave into the tier 3, so I think he's probably better off just hitting that tower a little bit up top.
Yeah, I think so. They probably are going to lose this tier 3, at the very least they're going to do a lot of damage, but Ice is doing work on that top tower. It looks like Mushi's actually going to teleport back here.
Okay, letting the Requiem loose, and Mushi is going to just feed here. Ice is going to just kill him. Okay, thanks for it. So now he's going to keep pushing. The Overgrowth will miss on cancel out the TP. Ice don't want to stay a little bit too long given the fact that he doesn't have access into his ultimate anymore. Okay, just kidding. He's staying right here. Right in front of the building.
Yeah, because I think he had the intel because his team was still chasing the stragglers from Mineski, so he's like, I'm just going to hang around a little bit, but I don't think he's going to pressure this any further after this. That would be a bit too Ice, you know? There's a limit. Everyone has a limit.
Ice has done more damage to the tier 3 than the entirety of Mineski has to the base. Of course, Trian is healing it up as we speak, so...
Yep, so I'm not too sure what's going to happen here. It looks like Troll's actually going to go back for a BKB rather than finishing off Assange and Yasha. Pretty understandable considering the, insane amount of magic damage that's coming out from Team Mineski here. And looks like the next target's going to be tier 1 bottom on the Dire side.
Pretty big swing given that I think Mineski was very vastly in the lead before that point.
Yeah, I think they thought they were a little bit more stronger than they actually were. You still have to worry about the tree and the Crystal Maiden's frostbites when you're trying to push up that high ground. But they do get out. They still have the Aegis. They have a little bit of time on that. let's see if they're able to work something out, or if it's going to be a farming Aegis here.
Are you
And
surprised
another
by
stack, of course.
by the fact that Bristleback has the Aegis and not Shadowfiend? Because I don't know if Bristleback will even die here.
Yeah, I think at the very least, if he does die, the thing is, you have these, you know, once again, talking about all these tools, you have the Witch Doctor, you have the Nyx Assassin, that can kind of, I mean, excuse me, you have the Omni Knight that can help the Bristleback kind of stay up there in the front line. Whereas I think Shadowfiend's more of a hero that they can kind of pop, because he doesn't have that BKB yet.
Right.
So it's a little interesting. I think both heroes have the merit as to why you want to give it to those.
All right, Mushi Shadowblade into BKB. This is the build that he loves to do, but
Black going for the courier. Oh, he's gonna miss it.
Deso coming up next for the Clinks. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, the thing is, after Clinks gets the Deso, I think he becomes much better at like those situations where your team's kind of 4v fighting, they're kind of kiting around a little bit, and they have good heroes to do that. You know, you can always kind of initiate a little. You can kite around with heroes like Abaddon and Tree. You know, you can always drop that root and just run away. Meanwhile, Clinks is going to be doing exactly this. You know, he's going to be able to get these towers with the Troll ultimate. So we'll see how they kind of deviate from the play here now that Clinks has the Desolator.
Are they trying to kill him?
I do not think they can kill Ice.
Even if they hit a full Requiem, he pops soul and just like, okay.
Yeah, the only way they would kill him is if he's at like 800 HP and you just kill him before that ulti like gets off. You just like, because you go like over the threshold.
Is it even possible? Because I know they do.
I'm not sure with Shadowfiend. I'm not sure how it works with Shadowfiend.
Right, Shadowfiend, I believe like each soul flies out does its individual damage, right? So I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's like
I think it is like that. Yeah, because I know you can kill TA through refraction since there are different instances.
Oh, tower goes down. Mag will pick it up. And now on the back line here, it's going to be a Witch Doctor picking up the Crystal Maiden, letting Nuts taste it a little bit here against the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. But here's Ice Man. He just saw 4 heroes up here. He's like, I don't care. Just gonna farm.
Got relics in actually. I think Abaddon again is one of those heroes that could take over the game, especially with the battle trance from Troll Warlord.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point to make, is that you can have, once again, you can do that 4 heroes running around, and you can have Clinks kind of split pushing, doing his own thing, beating down towers, and Abaddon is one of the best heroes at, forcing opponents to kind of stay on him.
Right.
And then you can have Clinks kind of adding it up a little bit. And at the same time, you can also fight with the Clinks, so they have a lot of options on Team Faceless as to how they want to play the game. Meanwhile, yeah, he just gets deleted there.
I don't know how Adam has been able to just dust. I guess this ward saw the tree coming in, and then they know he's around the area. Maybe they scanned on top, didn't catch it, but he's been perfect. Every time he pops the dust, he gets a kill.
Yeah, he has his Blink Dagger now if he wants it, actually. He's got it queued up.
I feel like this is a Midas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's a Blink Dagger game. They do have decent kill potential, though. This game can go multiple different ways here. I think Midas is the safe route, where you guarantee farm, and you can transition into like an Ags Blink later on. Because, Nyx Assassin is one of the hardest heroes to push against once he gets that Ags, and
right.
Team Faceless, they have a really good high ground team here. So, might want to be working towards that Ags. Oh man, is he gonna get another Vac Dust? That would be insane if he just randomly dusted there. But no, it looks like Black's gonna be fine. So meanwhile, it looks like the Shadowfiend, looks like they're all just gonna be hanging around the Shadowfiend here, playing a little bit of 4 Protect 1 or 3 Protect 1 in this case. Meanwhile, they have Witch Doctor soaking up a little bit of EXP. Witch Doctor opting to go for a Ghost Scepter very early on. Fantastic item against Clinks, of course. Really good against the Troll Warlord as well. And it looks like both teams have kind of just opted to group up for the next little moments here, as Roshan is going to be spawning. Definitely don't want to be going down when Roshan is around the corner.
Yeah, the Diffuser Blade normally is like made in preparations for Ghost Scepter or Yules or whatever that comes out. But this game, just the extra added damage is going to be very, very viable.
Yeah, this is a pretty even game here that we've got going on. Both teams, I think they have relatively similar strengths. They both have the ability to keep their cores alive for a decent amount of time. I think Faceless is a little bit better in the solo pickoff department, whereas Mineski works together as a team a little bit better. So we'll see which of those two kind of comes out ahead here in the next few minutes here. And looks like both teams kind of just finagling for a little bit of position around the Roshan, making sure they have good warding around the pit.
All right, Radiance is online here for Ice Ice Ice. He could even be more of a bully than he has.
Yeah, and he's got that. He's got a whole bunch of great items here against Mineski's side.
Raging's gone for AC, which ironically is an item that you don't see too often in Bristleback, at least not this early. I think Bristleback normally goes for it as a 4th or 5th item, but once he has AC and the Shiva's finish, my god, he's going to be so tanky.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a relatively late Silver Edge coming out from Troll.
Right.
To somehow deal with that. He has a lot of items he has to work towards, though. If he wants to, hit the Bristleback, he's gonna need a MKB. Looks like they're trying to go on the Bristleback here, but they probably are not gonna.
Oh, Overgrowth is gonna get committed here. He's turning around. Guardian Angel's not gonna be popped on him, but the repel will be, and he walks back out. A lot of spells being committed on both sides. 0 kill whatsoever. The Shrine is gonna bring Raging Potato back up.
Smoke from Mineski there.
Yep, they're gonna say, look, they're gonna try to deward a ward. XY is working so hard for that deward, and instead they're gonna just go inside the Roshan pit. Not the play that I think Faceless was expecting.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get it probably before anything happens here. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think. Oh.
Wait, BKB coming in from the Troll Warlord now. Ghost Scepter, like you mentioned, coming out as well. On the back line, though, Treant goes down to Jay. Jay does not care that he's tanking all of Black's damage. He's got the Aegis, he's got the Solo Crest, so he's just in the front line, okay? Nice 2 kill here by Jabs. Jabs going for a little bit more Mushi, popping the BKB, popping the Requiem as well, and now he also goes down. It's Jay against the world right now, against all 3 cores, and I don't think he's able to run away, especially with Abaddon sticking on him like that. Jay, oh my god, the war also goes down. Jabs went very low, and so did Abaddon, but they just ignored Black completely. The whole fight, he just stood there and strafed away. I'm not sure if
that was a little
the
unfortunate there. I think what happened was Mushi went out to push like a couple creeps. I think if he didn't show himself, because he broke the smoke to auto attack a couple of creeps at mid, so it would have been much cleaner if Mushi just went in there with his team. So there's going to be a buyback coming out here from Raging Potato to try to stop any push attempts, and it looks like it is going to be successful. We have Clinkz kind of just pelting away at the tower from the bottom tier 2, from the high ground. They're going to get the tier 3 to about 1/3 of its life.
Well, Bristleback trying to keep some people near his base so his heroes could respawn and fight them, but they all just make it out there. They got themselves a very key buyback on the Bristleback, and all of a sudden he is not second net worth anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of plumbed it down. He is hanging around there, but he's probably lost a couple thousand in the last few minutes here. So I think it's down to Mineski to kind of regroup here. They need to get a couple more key items onto the SF. It looks like he's got a MKB queued up here with a casual Talisman Evasion. I'm pretty sure he's going to finish the Butterfly first, though. I don't think going MKB after the casual Talisman is the play.
I mean, there is a lot of miss from the Troll, so I could get behind the...
No, there's also the Solar Crest, I suppose, of Radiance. It does make sense.
But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about his survivability to begin with.
Yeah, harkening back to that, he does have the Omni Knight, he does have the Witch Doctor, of course, so if Nyx Assassin can land some clutch impales here and there, he should be fine. But opting for a little bit more of an offensive build rather than defensive, I think this is a game where you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure on your opponents. You're not going to get away with just idly farming. Once again, going back to that Clinkz Abaddon Troll combo, they're very good at taking down towers. Just getting a couple kills, they're able to take the tier 3 all the way down to about 1/3 of its life. So they're going to have to be careful here in the next engagement here.
Alright. Scouting being done by XY. Crystal Maiden on the left side is going to get initiated by the Blink Dagger of Adam. So, we talked about the Hanamitis, but definitely paying off for that quick kill there. Maybe they're looking to get a little bit more Ice 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 running towards his shrine. And Mineski would not look for the chase.
Yeah. Ice 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 just casually turning off his radiance there. I'm not too sure what that was about. But he turns it back on.
Want to see that glow? No? What it looks like when you're going Super Saiyan.
But yeah, I think that's all they have right at the moment though. Faceless is their targets, apart from the Crystal Maiden, are pretty hard to take down now. I think. So I think this is one of those moments I was talking about where you want to take a little bit of a breather, get those items on your Shadow Fiend, make sure you know if you're going to finish the MKB, finish the MKB. Don't it's just 800 more gold. Make sure you don't go for any fights until then, and perhaps afterwards you can look for some more pickups.
That is one of the innate dangers of getting an early BKB. When the game slows down like this, BKB is not an item that will help you farm.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I want to look at Omni-Knight's farm a little bit. It looks like he's gone for more utility-based items rather than going to something a little bit more like what Abaddon's opted for. But he's going to transition into a Heaven's Halberd, it looks like. He has the Sanj queued up, and that's probably going to end up being a Heaven's Halberd rather than a Sanj and Yasha, I would imagine. It is pretty good against the Clinks and the Troll as their BKBs kind of wear down, as you mentioned earlier.
Darius Scan finds out a group of heroes behind the river. And they're going to send Jay in the front line. He is by far the hardest to kill and can make some counter plays.
Yeah, it looks like Troll's actually going to be going for a defusal here. And it looks like Faceless is just going to be backing off here. They realize there's not going to be too much coming out from that push. Just going to play it safe and farm up a little bit more on their heroes.
Yep, as I mentioned from earlier, Diffusal Blade good against those pesky Ghost Scepters that are starting to come out from Witch Doctor or whatnot.
Yeah. One thing to note is that for the viewers, you can no longer actually purge off Repel, so that is not going to be taken off, but you can purge off the GA still, the Guardian Angel, so definitely good. We're going to see Mineski here smoking up, and they're going to use Nyx's Vendetta just for a little bit more invisibility in case they run into any enemy heroes here.
In case when you run into Invis hero like Black, you know he's actually nearby.
Yeah.
Wrap around. It's gonna be a Troll Warlord and a Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden blinks out. Or sorry, Troll Router blinks out. Crystal Maiden. What?
Oh.
Don't juke yourself, Adam. Just go for the stun. Alright.
That was a little bit of overthinking it, but they do get the kill in the end.
Yeah.
But once again, time and time again, we've been saying Crystal Maiden is probably going to be the brunt of these ganks. She's the one that's going to be dying. Not the end of the world, but getting a pick off is relatively decent. We'll see if they're able to kind of transition this into a little bit more map space, just farming it up a bit more.
33 minute, less than 33 kills.
Yeah, it's been a relatively tame game, but I think there's been a lot of aggression. It's just, I think both teams are doing a pretty good job of making sure their cores stay alive for the most part.
Right.
So I think it's yeah. There's been a lot of fights. It's not like it's been a boring game or anything.
Yeah.
It's not been a farm fest.
There has been a lot of interesting strategical positioning and stuff like that too. Moving away to dodge ganks or split pushing, that sort of things.
Yeah. So Shadow Fiend's actually going to do a pretty decent amount of damage to the tier 2 at top. It's sitting a little bit about half, but this is what we talked about. The Treant Protector is just going to start healing that up. So if you're not able to take these towers in one go, it's going to be very annoying for Team Mineski to get these towers as they're going to be healed up by the Treant.
Remember, it was only 10 minutes ago when Mineski was trying to high ground and they brought the tower down to like, I don't know, 25% health. Of course, Treant has healed it up since then, but that's just a sign of Mineski's early lead, and they were unable to really capitalize on it.
Yeah, I think that whole exchange was a little bit unfortunate for them. Mushi ended up porting top, trying to stop Ice, and solo just ended up solo dying to him. He does have a DD here. We'll see if he's able to make any massive plays with that. Looks like they're going to go for the top again with this DD.
Okay, Nyx is going to see everyone coming in, XY as well as Jabs moving relatively fast, and now Blink. Abaddon's the one they focused on, or maybe they're looking to retreat here. Oh my god, what an overgrowth with the Blink Dagger, but immediate BKB. They kill the Treant, and now Jazz being focused by Mushi. Mushi with the right click there, doing a ton of damage now. It's going to be Crystal Maiden being forced to pounce away on the backline. Mag with the defensive force staff, he's going to go down. Black has a double kill, and now they're going to focus here on the front line. It's going to be Abaddon getting bashed here by Raging Potato, was it? Or I'm not sure exactly what a stun was. Maybe it was just a casket. It seemed like it was a casket.
I think.
Oh, I see.
Casket, yeah, both of those.
And Mushi, when it's all said and done, an ultra kill.
Yeah, that was excellent usage of Solar Crest through the entire fight by Raging Potato. I was looking at all the heroes that he was focusing on. It was just stellar. They just Solar Crest the target, immediately right click that focus, that target down. He tried to save the Omni-Knight, I believe, with it the first time around. But yeah, that's what you mentioned earlier. You get that Assault QRS, you get that Shiva's guard, and you're just going to be able to stand there soaking up all the right clicks from the Troll and the Clink. So they're able to get a pretty handed victory here, and it looks like they're going to secure 2 tier 2 towers. They probably cannot go high ground here, but maybe they can do a little bit of damage or just end up farming the opposing drain.
I'm surprised that they're not hitting the building a bit to... Oh, actually,
yeah,
Treant.
I think it's Treant. That's the main problem.
That's the reason why they don't really go for it.
Yeah, they definitely would have chipped it down, maybe like 100, 200 HP.
Yeah. I think that last particular team fight, how it actually started for Faceless, is the reason why we both thought during the drafting stage that their team fight wasn't that good. They hit a 5-man overgrowth. But what did that actually set up? You're not setting up any other AoE, right? Crystal Maiden was a little bit too far away to drop her spells on top of the 5-man overgrowth. So that overgrowth, a lot of that stun on some of the heroes actually meant nothing, right? Like Tro wasn't focused on them, Klinks wasn't focusing on them, so...
Yeah, that's exactly what we mentioned. So I think that's going to be a little bit different, of course, if this game kind of goes at the same pace where they're kind of keeping up. Both teams are relatively even. Once the Klinks and Troll get maybe another, top tier item here, that kind of overgrowth is going to be significantly different. So until then, they should probably just farm up a little more items. Troll has some items, but these don't do particularly too much damage to a hero like Shadowfiend. He can just kind of stand there and trade auto attacks with you.
Both teams.
Meanwhile, it looks like, yep, just hanging on the Roche pit here.
Yep. Jab's got the blink out. He will have to be forced to blink out.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Abaddon as well. You have to be very careful when you're playing this hero, because when you go in and they pop your ultimate, you kind of have to start running away at that point. And if they're able to kill you on the retreat, your team loses their front line. After Abaddon went down, they just it was just pickings. They were able to pick whoever they wanted continuously. It's just taking down each target one after another. It looks like Crystal Maiden using a Frost Nova just to scout out the Roshan. It looks like it's just going to come up here. Mushi's going to send in a Manta Illusion, scouts it out. So both teams know that it is up now.
Well, bot waves is pushed in, so somebody on Faceless has to go back and port and defend. But Treant could, I guess, heal it up for a little bit, so they have some time.
He's going to have to wait for that entire wave to die, though. Otherwise, they just kind of chop away at that heal. Yeah, that was a bit early, I think, on the heal there.
Radiant's bottom tower seen better days.
I think Faceless is in a little bit of a predicament here. I think they're a little bit disheartened because of how the last fight went. That's why they don't feel like initiating again. Like, if they didn't have that last fight, it looks like they're going to go immediately onto the tree in here.
Gonna get found here. Can he actually drop off his ult before he dies? No. No ult there. Ninja Buki on the back line is going to get focused. Diffusal Blade will break the Ghost Scepter. The Bashes will come through. Crystal Maiden ultimate inside the pit. Very good position to actually isolate Raging Potato. Where's his team? There is no team. Critically, where was Mag? Mag was really forced away. Guardian Angel was not cast. Now, buyback from Raging Potato. They're going to try to actually take down Roshan during the meantime. It's going down very, very fast. Jabs applying the Battle Trance, and that's the reason why they won a team fight. They took the Aegis as well. Can they actually make a successful retreat? Raging Potato goes in. Look at this HP. He's down to about half HP instantly. Guardian Angel is going to come out. Where's the lockdown on him? There is no lockdown. Great stun here from Adam, though. They're going to try to take down Jabs, but Guardian Angel is running down very fast. And now, it's going to be Raging Potato perhaps dying a second time in a row. Mushi on the back line trying to KO Crystal Maiden, but Crystal Maiden is not worth it here as Jabs gives him the bash. Mushi goes down. That was a buyback onto the Bristleback, and now a death onto Mushi. I think in the span of the last not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, Faceless might have just won the game.
Yeah, at the very least, they've definitely created a lot of space for themselves here. I'm not too sure. I was looking at Mushi's HP. He went from like 8,000 HP to like, not 8,000. He went from like 1,000 HP to like 500, 400 in like a span of like 0.5 seconds. I'm not too sure what happened to him. I think it might have been just a searing arrow for the clicks or something.
Yeah.
But he dropped very quickly. I think he felt like he had a little bit more support from the Omni Knight. And it looks like Omni Knight does have the Sage now. So, excuse me, the Heaven's Halberd. So hopefully it contributes a little bit more to the fight, offers some evasion for the hero himself, and once those BKBs are, down, Trolls is at 7 seconds, we have Klinks is at 8 seconds, so pretty decent amount of time. Meanwhile, so there's going to be a pretty standard high ground push here. They're going to take the tier 3 down relatively easily with the Klinks.
Raging setting the front line here, trying to pull Black's attention away from his Raxus.
Mushi actually doesn't have buyback here, even if he wants it, by the way.
Yeah, on the back line here, it's going to be blinking back in. Jabs creating space for the team here, and now he's going to switch over to the Raxus. Jabs going to take down the Raxus. And now he's constantly being healed up by the Treant, by the Aphotic Shield. The chase comes through from Raging Potato, but at what cost? As Mineski loses the first lane of the racks in this game.
Yeah, that Roshan fight was, you know, definitely, it went too much in their favor. You know, if they lost maybe like 3 heroes and they're able to kill 5, I think it would be somewhat, you know, salvageable. But the fact that did they lose anyone? I don't think they lost a single hero, did they?
No.
Because the Crystal Maiden escaped barely at the end there from Mushi, so they ended up taking down quite a few heroes and a couple buybacks, and now Mineski definitely on the back foot despite having a very strong start to the game. And that's what we were talking about earlier, right? After Troll gets some of his items, after you know, Clintz gets a couple items, their team fight becomes a lot more potent. When you know, Tree gets those roots, when Crystal Maiden drops the freezing field and she's slowing everyone down, they have a lot more damage coming out.
Faceless will continue to move on and mow down another outer tower, rather the last outer tower. Not exactly sure why Jabs, every time I see him he has a double damage, but he has one again. And they could go high ground, honestly, to take down the second lane of Rex.
Yeah, they do have a lot of gold here. Hopefully they don't get, you know, too overzealous, spend some of that money if they want to. But it seems like they're content with the push for the time being. So yeah, it looks like Abaddon's actually went back and got an Aghanim Scepter here. So he's going to be taking a lot of the damage. So that's another thing that kind of makes Shadow Fiend and some of the AoE damage coming out from heroes like Witch Doctor a lot worse. Right. Abaddon's going to be soaking up the vast majority of that stuff.
Well, here comes the smoke gang from Mineski. This feels almost like a desperate attempt. Oh, the Blink Stun will miss. Ice, ice, ice. Rather, Nuts will force that away. And will the Shiva clip in? No, Nuts is just moving too fast with that Tranquil, which turns around with the Nova. Now she's fine. Is there going to be any punish here on the high ground? Black hits himself, looking for the extra range, force that back up onto the high ground. And now Jabs going in here. Requiem is going to get channeled by Mushi inside the tree lines here. And now it's going to be a defensive fight on the back line. XY ready to use that Overgrowth. Overgrowth does come out, lagging over on top of that Guardian Angel. Somehow Guardian Angel unit still dies pretty much instantaneously. They get the bash on Mushi. Mushi's gonna go down to tree. XY trades his life for it. I think that's gonna be worth. And now it's gonna be Raging Potato perma bash, perma purged, and he does go down as well. That's a dieback, and that's GG. Mushi calls it.
Yeah, that was just fantastically fought by Team Faceless. They throw Jabs in there. They know he has the Aegis. He doesn't even lose it. He actually comes off the fight healthier than he went in. And yeah, they kind of just swept it away with that one Roshan fight, and that's how the game tends to go when you get past 30 minutes. You win a clean fight like that, and you know, just excellently played by Faceless to kind of claw their way back into the game. You know, they weren't that far behind, but you know, not getting too disheartened with that initial, you know, Roof ultimate, and making sure they played to their hero's strengths.
I honestly thought that Mineski was so far ahead. When they shut down the Klinks early on wasn't able to do too much, and even during some of the initial team fights, he was ignored because he honestly wasn't a big threat. But what really went wrong was that bottom push, where I think if Mushi had the Aegis instead of Raging Potato having the Aegis, and they were able to take a Rackster on that first initial push, they would have been, you know, solidifying their lead. But instead, Mushi ported back, died solo to Abaddon, and they lost a lot of their momentum off that one play. And as a result,
I think just a quick point is that